Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. Hopefully you'll stick around for what may not be the shortest video, but anyway, we'll see where it goes. Okay guys, thanks for joining. So, a few things starting off. Number one, yes, my hair looks different today. It was one of those who gives a crap days. I got up, I did my makeup, and then I was like, I'm just not doing my hair. So this is it more all natural with absolutely zero curl, which looks like crap, but I didn't care. And I also am wearing my glasses in the video, which I don't do very often either. Another thing is you'll see me looking down at notes. The reason being is I'm talking about in this video how and when I knew that I was trans. And they're like key points that I wanted to recall. And then I also have a couple of statistics. So I kind of wanted to be able to glance down so that I can keep track of what it was I wanted to say. So one of the reasons I wanted to do this video is with more and more visibility, we're hearing more and more about the younger people who are coming out, which is fantastic, and the increased visibility is great for the community. But it also causes people to kind of look at those of us who are a little older when we come out with kind of a puzzled look, almost as if we weren't trans enough because we came out later in life. So a 2015 survey called Injustice at Every Turn did a little survey of trans people to try to get a number of issues, but what I focused on in the report were time frames that people transitioned. And what they found was that the average age that people transition was between 18 and 44 years old. Now, there was a little bit of a difference between whether that person was a trans man or a trans woman. Like, trans men tended to transition much earlier than trans women. Specifically, if we look at a particular age group was 18 to 24 years. And they found that trans men, 46% reported transitioning during that 18 to 24 year old mark. On the flip side of that, trans women reported transitioning during that time frame at only 18%. So there's a big gap there. It doesn't say concretely, why, the reasons behind that. If I were to guess, I would say it has probably a lot to do with patriarchy and living in a patriarchal society. The fact of the matter is our societies are kind of built on an implicit sexism, to where we tend to elevate masculinity over femininity. So someone giving up that masculinity from the outside world's perspective for femininity has a bit more of a stigma attached to it. But I digress. So when I knew I was different and when I understood what that meant are two very different things. From a very early age, I always had an affinity for girl things. When I would stay at my grandmother's, I would play in her jewelry box. I would, wrap a towel around my head and clunk around in her high heels playing girl. Like, I always wanted long hair. And when I had shaggier hair and my parents got it cut right before I went to school, I was devastated. I had an extensive Barbie doll collection and She-Ra collection. When it came time for Halloween, I always picked out the witch costume because that was that opportunity to wear a wig and a dress. When I was in school, all of my friends were girls, and what I loved about it was when I hung out with the girls, I just felt like I was one of the girls. As I got a little older, I tried to fit in, but it never really became comfortable for me. One of the worst things for me was gym class. I hated gym. Changing out with the boys and doing all that just kind of felt wrong to me. So I would tend to either wear my gym clothes underneath the clothes I already had on, or I would kind of hide behind the lockers and try to change out there, which would end up making me late. Or I got to the point to where I just wouldn't change out at all, and that ended up getting me in trouble pretty regularly. So another thing, I got picked on a lot when I was in school. I wasn't even out as gay. I always kind of tried to hide that as well, and I know I couldn't hide who I was, but what they were picking up on wasn't gay, it was that I was feminine. But it was very regular that I was getting called, you know, pardon me for the vulgar terms, but I was getting called faggot and dealing with all of that. One of the memories that sticks out is one day we had done a baseball unit in gym class, and as we were walking back from the field to the changing room, I remember students behind me poking me hard in the backside with a baseball bat, and then making jokes of, "He probably likes that." It was more confusing because I knew I was attracted to guys, but I absolutely, in those times of all the bullying, hated them at the same time. So even when I would go to bed at night, I would dream about being married, having a husband, being pregnant, having kids. And then when I would wake up from the dreams, I would be incredibly depressed by it. This was kind of in the teenage years. And I never really understood why it was that I was so incredibly depressed by those dreams. I tried after I got out of high school to fit the mold of what I felt like everyone expected. I dated a girl, which I'll provide. I have no clue which side it'll come on. I think it'll be on this side. Maybe it's on this side. I don't know. I'll provide a link to that video because I did a video on that. I felt like I was trying to do everything the right way, so to speak, or what I thought people expected of me. So then about 10 years ago, I saw this 2020 interview with Barbara Walters where she interviewed the family of a then very young Jazz Jennings. And I remember thinking in that moment, holy crap, that's what it is. For them, the word transgender wasn't even in my lexicon. I had never heard it before. I had no clue what it was. I had assumed, well, gay has got to be what it is, and even that was something I wasn't comfortable with. So after I kind of discovered that and understanding more about myself, I still didn't readily accept it. It took me a lot of time before I could come to accept who I was. So when I decided to move out on my own and I moved quite a distance from my family, that was kind of my opportunity to try to figure out a little bit more about what was going on with me and why I felt the way that I did. First, I came out as a gay man, and I thought that was the closest thing that I could feel comfortable doing. But even that came up short. It didn't quite feel right because I didn't feel like a gay man. I just didn't feel like a man. Right at the end of 2016, that I started growing out my hair and I started knowing something was going on and I was going to have to do something about it. And by the time my birthday rolled around, I'm a January baby, in 2017, I was starting to get more and more panicky. I was starting to get more and more anxiety. I was freaking out about facial hair because I wore makeup even then, but I was having a fit because I would shave 3 or more times a day because I just couldn't take it. It started getting panic attacks. I started worrying, as I'm getting older, what's going to happen? What if I end up having like severe cases of male pattern baldness and all this stuff that comes up, and I can never really feel comfortable being me? So that was when I started kind of accepting who I was. I ended up going into therapy. Now we're just under the 7-month mark on my HRT. That's a little bit of my story. It's kind of how the process I went through in figuring out that I was transgender. Everyone has their own story. That's just a little bit of mine. But I thought I'd take a minute and share so you can have a better understanding of maybe where I'm coming from. Okay guys, that's pretty much it for today's video. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up. Also, if you haven't already subscribed, make sure to click the subscribe button, click the little bell for reminders. Also, in the comments section, make sure to leave a comment, let me know what you think. Tell me a little bit maybe about your story. Also, don't forget to let me know what type of videos you would like to see, what type of content you want to view. Tomorrow, which will be Thursday, February the 8th at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. We'll be doing a live stream. Have questions, comments, it's an open forum. So it's going to be whatever you guys decide to bring to the table. In the end, closing with my quote, don't let the bastards get you down. Hold your head up high, walk through life being proud of who you are and living authentically. Coming out as yourself, living authentically, takes some guts. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.